Hi guys, it's Carissa, and I had an appointment with my gynecologist yesterday, so I figured I would just make an update video for you because the first time I've really had anything to update since my last video, specifically regarding trying to conceive. So, last time I left you, I was waiting for my betas to drop down to 0 following a coronal ectopic pregnancy and 2 shots of methotrexate to dissolve that pregnancy. And I was very, very fortunate to not have to have surgery and to not have any additional doses. It was incredibly slow. In fact, the nurse who would call me with my results every week would kind of laugh first because she never had that number that I was waiting for. She was always like, maybe next week, maybe next week. Sometimes it's just this slow. But after that, I had regular periods. I think I've had 2 periods since then. And everything's been regular, on time. And I'm sorry, it's about an hour and a half before feeding time in my house. So if you can hear cats wailing like they're starving, welcome to my life. Just before Christmas, we weren't really planning to do anything regarding plans or trying or anything. And I haven't tracked anything other than my cycle 1 start date and then, if I remember to, the end date. But it usually defaults to 4 days after, and that's pretty much it. So I don't really track anything other than when my period arrived. And we were just going to get through the holidays. Oh gosh, and now my light bulb's being crazy. Sorry. But we were just trying to get through the holidays and then figure out what we were going to do. And January is a tough month for us because both of us are very well affected by the weather and how dark it is so early. And Mike's birthday is mid-month, and he has a really hard time with his birthday. He always has. But it's hard because this year he is turning 34, and I know that we've been married 10 years now, and a year into our marriage, he was asking his father to close their family business that he was part of because he wanted to be home for when we started a family, and we still don't have one, and it's really hard. So during the visits regarding the ectopic, when I was seeing my gynecologist, he would kind of allude to, oh, we'll talk about what your next steps are. I have some things that I want to suggest, but we'll wait till we get there. You know, he would ask, I don't mean to get ahead of things, but do you have any plans for then? And at the time, we really didn't, and it felt kind of silly to even make any plans because who knew when we were going to be able to do anything. So because he had made it sound so much like he wanted to discuss those steps with us, I had planned to make an appointment with him, and I just didn't think anything of it through the holidays. And just before Christmas, I got a staph infection in my face, and it was pretty brutal, and it only affected me for a couple of weeks. I mean, I'm still kind of dealing with it, but I'm much better now, and I didn't get a fever or anything, and I'm okay, but it was enough of a distraction. And then there was Christmas, and I've been really busy with work, so I just kind of figured we would eventually talk about it. But unfortunately, in our relationship, we try to play it so cool that it gets to a point where we sort of build to a frustration point, and then one of us has to bring it up. And this time it was Mike's turn, and he said, when are we going to have that appointment with your doctor? So I made an appointment for the 6th, and that was yesterday. And I told Mike about it, and I put it on the calendar. And then, and that was a couple of weeks ago. And yesterday was my niece's 4th birthday. It's a really difficult thing to talk about because I don't know how to say it. I can't effectively put into words the juxtaposition between feeling so much joy and happiness, seeing my niece so happy and celebrating her birthday, and also feeling so much deep pain and sorrow for our empty home. And, you know, I kind of get upset with myself for even having that automatic connection to the moment and to the thoughts in my mind. But it's just, every year she turns another year older, and you know that goes the same for her sister. It's just going to be that much more difficult to enjoy it fully without feeling so sad. And I honestly felt okay. Normally I think that I don't want to say dread it, but I can feel an upcoming birthday or event, and I can feel it without really knowing. So I'll kind of feel grouchy or just agitated, irritated, and I won't really know that that's what it is until I figure it out a couple days into it, or just beforehand. And normally I'm okay after, but this time it hit me the opposite way. I think I was feeling like I can get through this, and this is coming from having stuffed down all of the emotions from the ectopic pregnancy and just trying really hard not to feel it or think about it. And I know that there are a lot of people who would say that that's the wrong way to deal with it, but it was the only way I knew how. It was just my automatic instinct was to just shut everything down, pretend none of it ever happened, and just not think about it. So I think that I was holding on to a lot of that, unfortunately, and then any of the pain that I felt during the holidays, I had somehow just very easily shut it all out. And because I had been dreading Christmas so much, and because I'm so used to how hard Christmas feels, I think I sort of just, I don't even know how I did it, but I just shut it all out, and I just didn't even think about it. I didn't cry once. I didn't even wallow. I didn't even sit for like 5 minutes and think about how sad I was, because I just thought, you know, anytime those feelings would come through, I would just think of something else and I would just block it right out. And I think that I had it all stuffed like into a closet, and then when my niece's birthday hit, it was like I couldn't put anything more in there. The doors were going to come open. So my sister took my niece and her sister, and then she told her she could pick a few friends to bring, and they went to Build-A-Bear at the mall, so we all met there, and the kids got to pick out their stuffed animals and get them stuffed and dressed, and then we went to the food court so that the kids could go on a carousel. And Mike was there, and I asked him, please be sure you're there, because he means so much to my niece, and she just loves him, and she doesn't get to see him very often, which I like to joke is the reason she likes him so much, because she doesn't see him enough to form a different opinion, but that's not very nice. But no, she, you know, really wanted him to be there, and I could see her little face lit up when she saw that he was there, and that meant a lot to me. But I know that it was asking a lot to have him be there, and it shouldn't feel that way. And that's what's so hard. That's half of what makes me feel so crummy, is not just the fact that we didn't have a child of our own to bring to enjoy that day with my niece. It's the fact that I can't just go and enjoy it and that's it, and not feel all of that. And also know that I'm asking Mike to open up his wounds and feel all of those things as well. So after the fact, we were pretty sad, and I asked him if he was okay, and he said he wasn't, but I figured I'd give him some time. You know, he always gives me time when I need it. And I had reminded him, we went to dinner afterwards, and I had reminded him that I had that appointment the next day. And I said, you know, it probably feels like a really awful thing to have to go discuss after feeling so sad, but, you know, we have that appointment tomorrow. Well, the next day, which was yesterday morning, Mike didn't get out of bed. He usually gets out of bed around 7, whether he has the day off or not. He had the day off yesterday, and he was still in bed at like 9 a.m. And I know he was awake. He was just not ready to just get up and be, I guess, unaffected by his feelings. Because I think we didn't discuss anything during Christmas, or I mean, we haven't brought it up at all. We never really do. We just try really hard to live full, happy lives for as much of the time as we can without thinking about our situation. And I think we both just really, we held it in for too long. We held in too much for too long. So when I got ready to go to my appointment, I realized he wasn't going to be ready in time to go. And I thought, wow, he is so sad and so caught up in his own feelings. He forgot about the appointment we have today to address some of that, you know? And I got pretty mad at him, but I think I just wanted somewhere to place the blame, to place the frustration and the hurt, because there's nothing else that I can get upset about, because nothing really should upset me. This is just our life, and you know, I don't know. I just felt like I needed to be mad at somebody, I guess. So I rushed out of the house. I told him, I'll talk to you later about whatever he says, and just stay home, and I don't want to be late. So I left. And on my way to the appointment, I could feel it. I just knew I'm not going to make it. I am going to cry my face off. And I don't know if you have ever experienced anything like this where, because I'm the kind of person that when I feel like it's appropriate to need to cry or to have to cry, or even when people would even expect you to cry, I can't, and I don't. But if I see a dog food commercial, oh, there goes my light bulb. Okay, sorry, my light bulb just blew out and it was smoking, and I had to let the room air out a little bit and unplug it and take the lamp out, so. But anyway, I was on my way to my appointment. I was very upset, and I knew Mike was just going to follow me there, but I don't know. I like to get to an appointment early, and I don't like to scrape in at the last minute, and I know it was just like a 10-minute office visit that was scheduled, so I really didn't want to be late. And I got to the office, and while I was checking in, Mike walked in behind me. I had already started crying on my way there, and I was able to sort of abruptly stop it, but I could tell that it was I was not going to get away with not sobbing. I knew that the second the doctor started talking to me, I was going to lose it. And I had to be really careful because I didn't want to walk in there already crying, and I don't know, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I was concerned about that. So it was too late. My throat was already sore. I could tell that I was going to start crying, and when the nurse called me back, she could tell that I was upset. She was trying to kind of make small talk, and she's very, very sweet, but I just couldn't. I didn't have it in me. And then when I did answer questions, my answers didn't come out like real answers, because I just was trying so hard to hold it together. And Mike and I were brought back into an exam room, even though I wasn't having anything, physically looked at. But they took my blood pressure, and it was surprisingly good considering how riled up I got in such a short period of time. And anytime I think I'm going to be late for an appointment, my blood pressure is normally way higher. So when the doctor came in, I must not have, I guess, made myself clear enough to the receptionist, which I realized at the time. I don't know if he really knew what we were there to discuss, because the nurse asked me if I was interested in birth control or if I was going to try again. And I was like, well, no, I'm not planning to take birth control, but I guess that's what we're here to discuss with him. So when he came in, I could tell he was a little bit like, so what's up, And that's fine, but I was not in an emotional state to really discuss anything. So I was pretty much crying immediately. He kind of said, well, how are you doing? And I said, okay. I said, I guess we're not doing very well, but you know, it was just the holidays, and yesterday was my niece's birthday, and I think that it was a really hard day for us. And I said, and I wasn't expecting to feel so emotional today. It just kind of caught me off guard. And it was really nice of him to say, because I think if I had felt like I had said it, maybe he would have thought it was silly, but he said, you know, I'm sure being here isn't easy because everyone in the waiting room is very visibly pregnant, and most people who are there because they're pregnant. So that you know, yes, that to some extent just made it worse. He sort of asked what our plans were, and it's really hard because that's another thing that makes me really emotional, because it just sucks to feel like, here we go again, we've got to do this again. And it's such a stupid thing to complain about, because at least we, you know, not very well, and we certainly have had to get help from Mike's parents, but we at least have the means to do it to some extent. You know, we can't do 4 cycles in a year like some people can. We can't just back to back to back do cycles. That's just not an option for us financially. But the fact that we are even able to do it at all is something we should really feel grateful for. And we do, but it's so hard to plan to do it again. It feels awful. And especially because it's never really worked out for us, and it just never seems like it's ever been worthwhile. So it just feels like, I mean, we're not gamblers, you know. When we go to a casino, we do like $5 at a slot machine and leave. So it's really hard to just kind of put all of our money and faith into something that has like a 25% chance of working. He did say that he recommends that we look into IVF again, and kind of sort of brought up his colleague again that we had seen in another town. And Mike was very glad to let him know about how bad our experience was there. And he was not happy about it, but he also didn't seem surprised. And he said that if we were willing to go back, that he would call the doctor ahead of time and let them know that I was on my way, and that he wanted to know, like, hey, what are you going to do to make this right for them? So he told me that he would call the doctor ahead of time and sort of tell them, give him a little bit of our backstory, and let him know to treat us well or something, I guess. But the problem wasn't him. We never met him. His staff was what the problem was. They kept acting like they didn't have any idea why we would drive over an hour to go see him. Like, they just seemed so baffled by that, and they were kind of rude. So you hear all the doggies? You hear all the neighborhood doggies? What are they saying? And he also asked if we were ever seen anywhere else. And I told him that the first place we went to, it's actually the place that I think most people would expect. If you were from around here, you would go, because they are part of the big hospital here. And I love that hospital. I have no problems with it. I guess at the time we were very new to it all. We were very sensitive. We just kind of expected everything. We just hoped everything would work right away. And we were kind of in denial of how long the process could be. And everything felt very cold and clinical and impersonal and kind of harsh there. And then we were referred to the place that we've been going to, which is a little bit more fluff. And my apologies to anybody who really believes in it, or I don't want to say believes in it, but really subscribes to that whole process. I don't find it relaxing. I don't find it encouraging. It just feels like a distraction, or like busy work, I guess, in between, or even ways to make more money. I don't know. But they're very Eastern medicine based. They push a lot of yoga and acupuncture and meditation and specialty massage and essential oils, things like that. And I didn't really participate in much of that, at least not recently. I did a lot of it when I first started, but I came to find that some of those things felt like obligations, and they felt more stressful to me than not doing them in the first place. So I found that it was better for me personally to not participate, and that it certainly also was better to feel like my money was better spent going towards the actual services themselves and not extra things. So There was that, and they were the ones who, I guess if I could put the words on it, they were the ones who kind of mishandled the ectopic and let it go for as long as it did. And then when it came to diagnosing me, it was just sort of like shouting about what it was to each other and not telling me personally as a patient what was happening. It's hard because I do want to go back there just because it feels easy. It feels like the nice, easy, lazy route. I already know everybody there. I know their routines, their practices. I feel comfortable with the drive and just everything. I feel like all of my information's already set up and ready to go, and it's just the easy way out. But it is starting to feel like it would be foolish to keep going back, I guess. I don't know. And the main issue, I would say, is probably the fact that they're so much more affordable than the other two options. I am leaning towards going back to the place through our local hospital. I don't like that idea, but I don't like any of them. I don't like having to do it at all. And I would just keep trying on our own, but there was a 7-month time span between when I conceived the first time last year and the second time, and it's becoming apparent that we may really need to, I don't know, have genetic testing done, and take everything a step further than we have in the past. So that's kind of where we stand on that. As far as other options go, we are not yet looking into that. We're giving this another year at least before we start talking about other things that we can be doing and planning for. But it's just so expensive, and it's just not, we're not there yet. We're not ready to take out massive loans to get ourselves into a position that we're hoping to be in, especially not when we've been closer than we ever have before in the last year. So I guess I just feel like I need to address that because people ask me all the time when I post videos like this, and for some reason it really bothers me. I know most people mean well, but it just feels like a slap in the face because it's obviously always an option. It's obviously always a good thing to do if you can do it and if your heart's there. But we not only are we not really there emotionally, we certainly aren't there financially. And the thought of taking classes and seeing lawyers and just all of the things that are involved is so overwhelming, and we don't have the determination in us yet to do that, I guess. We just must not be in that place. So I thank everybody for, I guess, bringing it to my attention. I don't know. I don't know why people ask. I think it's just something that they're curious about. Sometimes I feel like people just want to know because they want to be able to judge you based on what your answer is. So feel free to go ahead. But it's just been a hard year. Last year was really difficult for us, and we didn't even have the chance to do IVF because I was so bogged down by pregnancies that were duds that I had to just wait out. And that was really taxing on us emotionally. And we have medications in our refrigerator that we were intending to use for IVF last year that are rapidly getting ready to expire. That is tons of money that is spent that has not helped us at all. It's just taken up room in our fridge, and we can't even help somebody else with it by donating it because it's pretty much all expired. It's just very, very frustrating. So I'm going into this next year feeling a little bit more vigilant. I'm feeling a little bit more aggressive. I feel like I'm not going to try and just be the good patient anymore and just do what I feel is the right thing, and not say anything when I feel like I need to say something, and not argue things that I feel like need to be said. I just try so hard to be cooperative and agreeable, and I almost feel like maybe if I'm quiet and patient and I do what they say, they'll like me more and somehow make it more possible. And I know that that's just not even how any of it works. It's just a mindset I've always had. It's like a teacher's pet mentality. And instead I need to speak my mind. I need to speak my concerns. I need to be more vocal, and I need to just, I guess, commit 100%, commit fully. No more of this emotional eating, no more of this, holding up in my own feelings and just sitting in the house like an anxious hermit. I need to really live my life, and I need to give this my best shot, because I'm nearing the end of the road of being able to have a healthy pregnancy, even if I were somebody who could conceive on their own. So I'm really looking at this next year as being critical. It is frustrating because sometimes it's all I have. I am trying really hard not to shop emotionally or sleep too much or obviously eat the wrong things or too much of anything, I guess. And I don't know why, but when you're feeling down for some reason, doing something that feels like it's rebellious or wrong in some way seems to fill the void more than saying, oh, I'll just do yoga for an hour. It just doesn't, it doesn't satisfy the pain the way that other things do. And I'm trying to really shed those habits and just think differently and be different. I've lost a lot of friends because of my infertility, and I know that it's just because a lot of women, they want you to be able to be as honest with them as possible, and then once they know you, they truly know you, and then they get pregnant themselves, they just feel like they can't be that friend anymore, or they don't want to be, or they just remember all the awful things that you said when you were feeling bad or you're feeling down, and they just take it personally suddenly when it was never about them, I guess. I don't know. So I have to say there are a few women, like Lisa Marie TTC. She is one of the ballsiest, most wonderful women I know, because even throughout all of the steps of her pregnancy and her beautiful, wonderful child's life, she has been there for me, and she has reached out to me and talked to me, and she remembers that she's been where I am, and she still acknowledges me as a friend and a person. And I can't say the same for a lot of people who've been in my path on this journey, but it is really hard to be friends with a woman who is in this much pain for this long. And I can completely understand that. I give my husband credit for the fact that he's been able to be married to me this long, because there's just so much pain. But ultimately, what ended up happening was we told our doctor that we would think about what we're going to do, and I have to go back and see him in 2 weeks because I agreed to try and manage my pain and my emotion with medication. It's been offered to me by different doctors all along this path, and I've always felt like, no, this is hard, but I can do it. And I don't have anything against taking medication. I just always thought that I was okay. And yesterday, as I cried through my entire appointment, my doctor finally said, how are you managing your emotions? Are you okay? And do you need to talk to somebody, or would you like to take something? Or both. And I told him that I think I'm finally ready to take that step. So I have been prescribed Zoloft. I am on probably the lowest possible dose you can take before it's ineffective. And he said that if I'm doing well on it, he will double my dose, which is still an extremely low dose. So I started that yesterday, and I am hoping that it kind of helps even me out a little bit and numb me to sort of the overwhelming emotion that I can find myself in, because I don't really think I want to talk to anybody yet, because I know that if I tried, I would just cry so hard I wouldn't be able to actually say anything. I don't know if there are people who will let you pay them to email them, but I don't know how I would even form the sentences without sobbing, and I just need to get there. So maybe that will be the next step after this point. I don't know. I am willing to do anything, I guess, but this is a big step for me, and it's something that I'm hoping will be very, very temporary. And he said that it's up to me, I can continue to take it through a pregnancy if I want to, but he would completely understand if I would be excited to drop it if I were to become legitimately pregnant. So I am looking forward to hopefully having some relief in that respect, because I feel like I can't even watch a movie or a commercial even about anything about someone having a baby or having a child without feeling like it's just ripping my heart out. And I think beyond the scope of just everyday pain, I think that that's something that needs to be reeled in a little bit. So that is where things stand right now. Mike and I have some decisions to make, although I think we are kind of leaning towards seeing the local doctor. We may want to just do a new consultation with them first to see. There are other options in the area, but I just don't think it would be wise, given that we have two perfectly good examples of what we could do to look at and to work between. But I think we do need to part ways with our last facility, just because I think we need a new set of eyes on what we're doing. So yesterday, after I got home from my appointment, I had a full day of work that I needed to get to. I had so many things to do, but I felt like I had been simultaneously given like a shot of oxygen and a sleeping pill, because I came home after my appointment and I cried and I just passed out for like 6.5 hours. I just slept all day. And even when I would wake up now and then during my nap, I felt this state of just feeling so freed for finally just giving that a good cry and acknowledging that I was sad, and feeling like I maybe got a little bit of help. I don't know. And I felt like I was sinking into the mattress further, but floating at the same time. It was just this like strange physical response to how I felt about all of that. And it was actually really, really relaxing. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I could actually relax. And I didn't realize how much I was preventing myself from relaxing. So that is why I have my glasses on today, because I cried so hard. My eyes are just super, super dry. And I've been putting drops in them like every 45 minutes, and it's just not helping. I think I need to just give my eyes a break. Thank you very much, you guys, for all of your support and for joining me on my other channel, which is such a nice distraction, and just for being there for me when I just need to check in with you and let you know, and for sticking around. I hope that 2016 is a promising and positive year for all of you, and I hope that we all find the other side of this somehow, no matter what it is, that we all find ourselves in a place where we feel peace. I really do wish it for all of you. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.